Good evening, my fellow scientists. It is Sunday, August 26th, 2018, and I want to talk about, well, productivity hacks, I suppose. I'm a little skeptical of the productivity hack genre. I think it's a little overdone. There's always a market for people who want to improve their productivity, and so there's always going to be a whole category on sites like Medium for how to improve your output by following these 5 simple steps, the typical listicle. I think a more realistic and nuanced picture is Covey's from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that there's always going to be a point of overcommitment, but putting the critical, not urgent, but important things that are going to actually make the difference toward the success of the greater goals first is what's going to make the difference between being overcommitted and dropping things that are unimportant and being overcommitted and dropping things that are important. And I am overcommitted right now, and I have dropped some things this week, and I regret that, and so I need to come up with some way to help me better visualize the things that are critical, the things that are important, and keep them in my mind a little better, because I tend to get distracted by stuff like building things in the lab and sleeping, and that needs to be pulled back. When I was a kid, the analogy that I was given was, if a juggler is juggling and his assistant keeps throwing balls to him such that he has to juggle more and more balls, the best juggler will eventually start to drop the ball. It will happen. There's a limit to everybody's capacity. So how do you make sure you don't drop something critical? Well, there are tools to help finagle all this. One of the ones I like is one that I saw, a digital calendar that essentially one of these digital picture frames, but a live view of one's Google Calendar. I use Google Calendar for all of my appointments. It seems like a natural thing, but I already have a Raspberry Pi and touchscreen interface for that from a little project last year where I wanted to make a safe computer. I'll put a link to the description down there. So I thought I'd recycle those parts, add a tablet holder, and have a little live view of my calendar in my peripheral vision all the time. Not terribly difficult. It's really 3 steps. There's the kit for the Raspberry Pi and the touchscreen interface that needs to be set up. I already did that last year. Very convenient. The kit is available from Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. Once you have that, you need to launch a interface for your calendar upon startup. I'll put a link in the description to the Stack Exchange question that answered that for me. And then you need to put it on a stand. And I used a tablet stand, which I will also link to. Alternatively, there are nice Raspberry Pi cases that will hold your Raspberry Pi at whatever angle you like for convenient viewing. Now, all that may not be quite as pretty as a dedicated digital calendar, but it worked for me, so I thought I'd show that off for those of you who are interested in that kind of thing. I'll try to stay away from pep spam and productivity hacks in the future, but this has been on my mind a bit, trying to make sure that I don't miss appointments. I thought it might be useful for you. If y'all like that kind of thing, think about coming back. We update about mostly science and batteries and our progress in those regards every week right here in the Allen Lab.